Manufacturers are setting the ambitious goal of developing products with minimal or no reliance on prototypes. But at the same time, no end customer is going to get into a vehicle or airplane that hasn't been physically tested. What these companies actually aim to achieve is the creation of a full-scale prototype as late in the development cycle as possible. Ideally, the first prototype will be a late-stage pre-production model used to validate performance against product requirements.
Physical testing will still play a critical role in this journey towards zero prototypes. To minimize the risk of discovering issues very late in the development cycle, there is a growing need to test the components that make up the full system, and then correlate and update the corresponding simulation model to ensure they accurately predict the real world. So it's critical for physical testing processes to be as accurate, reliable, and efficient as possible. By front-loading the testing of components and integrating tests with simulation, manufacturers can better evaluate many prototypes faster, earlier, and smarter.
With that in mind, the latest release of Simcenter Testlab 2406 is the right tool to help you in your journey to zero prototypes. The key focus areas in this release include improving the efficiency and ease of use, so you get your test results faster, expanding the testing capabilities to cover more applications, managing test data so you know which results go with which design variants, and extending process automation for greater throughput with less error.
On the journey to zero prototypes, the role of testing is definitely changing, but it's not disappearing. Instead, testing time is needed to understand the behavior of the components that will make up the final product. This could mean that even more data needs to be measured than is done today, and so improving testing efficiency is critical to your development process. Historically, impact model testing has been an inefficient process. Where will you place the sensor and how many do you need? Where are the impact points? Once you're ready to execute the test, then you might need to hit hundreds of locations with a single hammer. This obviously can take a lot of time. Then, after the test, you need to analyze the data to fully characterize the model behavior of the component. Now consider that you will have to do this for many components in your product, and you can see the need to improve efficiency. With Simcenter Testlab 2406, you can reduce test planning time by using your existing CAD model to help define instrumentation and virtual points. The use of multiple hammers allows you to extend the frequency range, which is necessary for evaluating the unique characteristic of electric vehicles. Simcenter Testlab will then merge the data from multiple hammers on the fly, so you can see results during testing. Additionally, you can review which individual impacts contribute to the FRF and can be rejected if they do not meet the desired test quality standard. Since you no longer need to change hammer every time and manually merge the data, you can significantly reduce your overall testing time by up to 50%, allowing to cover more impact points in less time. Ultimately, these enhancements help you characterize a component faster, which can then also be correlated with simulation results to improve the virtual models.
Rotating machinery, whether it's an internal combustion engine, electric powertrain, or a small DC motor, is a major source of noise and annoyance towards end customers. Modern design of gearboxes, complete aircrafts, or even simple engines are becoming more complex. As a consequence, NVH testing tools come with many options, settings, and sometimes hidden features that it's very easy to become overwhelmed, and getting efficient takes time. A major goal for Simcenter Testlab 2406 was to make it equally easy for an inexperienced test engineer fresh out of school and a hardcore operator with 20+ years of experience on the job to perform a complete signature test. With the 2406 release, Simcenter Testlab Neo supports the complete signature process, from instrumentation to measurement execution and processing, up to reporting and data sharing. Instrumentation is guided and intuitive, supporting both simple setup and multi-channel systems with a wide variety of sensors. The parameter visualization and definition of settings have been made sensor-specific in the new single-channel instrumentation task. Monitoring capabilities have been added to the measure worksheet during execution, allowing you to see the behavior of the system under test in real time. Spectrum maps, order and octave sections, and more can be visualized online with a click of a button. Once the data has been acquired, Simcenter Testlab Neo will automatically launch processes and populate results in the measure worksheet to validate the data quality. The process designer offers strong flexibility and a wide range of capabilities. You can design your own process or use a predefined process available with the Simcenter Testlab installation. Last but not least, once the process is done, you can load the predefined reports that will immediately populate with process results. Rather than tediously building the report one by one, simply create a scrolling definition and automatically build reports with the results and annotation in Microsoft Office. Easy.
On the journey to zero prototypes, the lines between testing and simulation will begin to blur. Testing tools will increasingly need to integrate and share data with simulation tools to correlate results and improve simulation models, feed operational data to durability analysis, and even combine test and simulation data to build complete virtual prototype assemblies. As I mentioned earlier, more and more testing is done to characterize the performance of the individual component that make up a mechanical product. Test data and even simulation data for these components can then be virtually assembled to create a virtual prototype assembly in Simcenter Testlab. You can then use virtual prototype assembly or VPA to understand the performance of the whole system and understand differences when you swap out different components. This lets you quickly understand how various configurations of your product will perform. In this latest release of Simcenter Testlab, you can also listen to your prototype before you build it. Virtual prototype assembly now supports time domain loads, and together with the newly released Simcenter Testlab MBH simulator, you can actually auralize your simulation results to actually hear what your virtual vehicle sounds like in different conditions. This allows you to develop the perfect experience for your customer and even evaluate against sound quality metrics before the vehicle is even built.
Predicting how long a vibrating component will last in the real world is always a challenge for engineers because there are many different variables to consider. First is understanding of the vibration itself. Many engineers simply rely on generic standards because they don't have real-world data. Vibrations may not always be equivalent over time depending on the use case. Shaking something until it fails can take a really long time, which is something the development teams don't really have. So you need to find a way to accelerate your durability testing to be faster and use more accurate loading conditions. In this release, Simcenter Testlab Neo introduces mission synthesis as part of Process Designer. Mission synthesis gives you a streamlined, all-in-one end-to-end process for defining the mission and cases your product will experience over its life, acquiring real-life vibration measurement data, analyzing damage potential and calculating overall damage, and finally, synthesizing the test profile. This solution addresses the inefficiencies of handling multiple datasets and channels, while eliminating the need for manual tracking of sub-combinations that often lead to errors. By utilizing advanced techniques such as fatigue damage spectrum, the FDS, or maximum response spectrum, the MRS, it accurately simulates real-world conditions to predict potential failure points. With multi-domain data acquisition capabilities and powerful analytics, it ensures precise, reliable, and efficient durability testing. This makes it ideal for test houses, automotive manufacturers, and technical labs involved in standardization committees.
A result of the journey to zero prototypes is that companies also want to spend less time on the testing than they will need to do. The pressure of having less time to test means your testing processes need to be as efficient as possible, which can be complicated when having to perform field testing such as raw load data acquisition or RLDA. Typically, RLDA tests require several technicians and engineers to be out at the proving ground. Additionally, they need to bring sensitive hardware and computers out in the elements, which could fail if it's raining and muddy. Instrumenting the test equipment can take hours, and then you need to spend the time for the actual drive and data acquisition. Further complicating things is that an engineer might not be able to validate the data until they bring all the equipment back to the office. What happens if the data is bad? Unfortunately, it looks like this costly process needs to be repeated. Simcenter SCADA's RS, introduced 3 years ago, is the solution to help improve your in-field data acquisition processes. This rugged, modular, and highly flexible hardware system stands up to harsh field conditions and also lets you more efficiently set up pre-test instrumentation. Remote connectivity to the system also means engineers don't need to ride along at the test and can even validate the data collection from their office in real time. This means you can detect issues in the field before you've packed everything up for the day. We have continued to extend the Simcenter SCADA's RS and its embedded recorder app to further improve efficiency. The recorder app allows you to access and use the system from any remote location, even by multiple people at once for different purposes. Additional usability improvements for SCADA's RS include individual channel setup and in the way CAN acquisition is configured. For example, new onboard CAN decoding means faster testing because all data is directly available for download or trackside validation with no extra decoding step required outside the SCADA's RS and recorder app. While testing out on the track, it can be useful to know what the track conditions are, or if the driver is doing anything differently at some point in time. There are several ways in which the SCADA's RS solutions help here. First of all, the remote connectivity capabilities allow an off-site engineer to access the live data stream, as well as the recorded data, to check the progress of the campaign and immediately suggest modification to the driver or to the other on-site engineers responsible for the test execution. New event marking capabilities with the SCADA's RS recorder app lets the driver annotate and mark important events during the drive, which then sync with the testing time data. This lets engineers know about how these events might be influencing the data they're analyzing. New hardware modules, as well as new software functionalities like impact acquisition and signature, widen the scope of applicability of the RS system to other domains like NVH.
There was a time when every subsystem R&D department was an island solving their own issues. Then, after about 4th or 5th prototype, these teams would figure out how to effectively connect their systems to choose the right design variant. I'm happy to report those inefficient times are over. Simcenter Testlab can help your R&D teams work smarter and collaborate more effectively through a centralized data management and processing solution. Does this process sound familiar? The development managers ask for a report comparing vehicle A and vehicle B for a number of testing attributes. However, the technician who measured the data has left the company, and so the team must scour various laptops and shared drives to see if they can still find the data. If they're lucky enough to find some testing data, often they don't know which components or design variants the data belongs to, or there is a doubt about the validity of the data itself. Ultimately, what happens is that the team needs to redo the measurement, costing weeks in lost time. Simcenter Testlab Data Management can help rectify this problem and get the comparison result back to the management within an hour. Simcenter Testlab Data Management is already a proven system which provides a centralized storage for all NVH data, including third-party sources. Engineers and technicians can then consistently annotate test data quickly and easily across different contexts. In this latest release, we have enhanced data management with the support of storing single values, such as statistics or KPIs. You can now also immediately replay the data stored on a central server without having to ever download it locally. In short, a true productivity enabler for any NVH department. And the automatic report generation capability that I mentioned earlier will work on the centralized data as well. One of the actually most unique features of Simcenter Testlab Data Management is how seamlessly integrated it is to the existing Testlab platform and interface, so that you might forget that you're browsing a dataset stored on a central server and not on your local PC. This helps make data management a breeze rather than an additional chore. The last new addition to the Simcenter Testlab family is for sure not the least important one. As I already stated, our goal is to make your job easier by creating tools that will make you more efficient and help deliver the required results much faster. And that's exactly what Simcenter Testlab Workflow Automation, or TWA, does. TWA automatically retrieves, processes, and publishes data coming directly from Simcenter SCADA's hardware, shared network drives, or Teamcenter Share, the Siemens cloud collaboration solution. Simcenter Testlab Neo Process Designer, running on a server, automatically post-processes all of that data. You can then immediately publish the results to Simcenter Testlab Data Management or download them to a shared network drive. Workflow automation opens up a lot of new possibilities. For example, think back to our earlier discussion about remote field testing. You can now remotely access test data that is currently being measured on a SCADA's RS system, on a vehicle or an aircraft still on a test track or in the air. Every measurement gets processed immediately and the results are stored centrally, all while the test drive or the flight are still completing all the maneuvers. Engineers in the office and on-site can review and determine if they have the data they need and eliminate the need for future retests. Another potential use case for workflow automation is through a centralized processing hub. Departments measuring their data with any commercial hardware can now store the raw results on a previously agreed upon folder. TWA will then make sure that the data is always analyzed in a consistent way and that your team has already defined, and then post results in a central location. With the combination of Simcenter Testlab Data Management and Simcenter Testlab Workflow Automation, you can democratize data and processing all at once.
As you can see, this latest release of Simcenter Testlab contains many new capabilities to help you test faster, smarter, and earlier. And these were just the highlights. To learn all the details of what's in the release, you can visit Support Center to review the release notes. Support Center is where you can also find downloads to the latest software, along with links to knowledge base articles and the community where you can interact with other Simcenter Testlab product users and experts. It's a great resource to help you get the most value for your unique applications. Support Center also includes technical videos, such as the popular Simcenter TV series that touches on a variety of technical topics in testing and simulations.
If you're new to using Simcenter Testlab, or even if you're an existing user looking to expand your knowledge, then explore the Siemens Accelerator Academy, where you can find online classes that will introduce you to using the product, as well as classes showing how to use Simcenter Testlab for specific applications. If you're primarily a Simcenter Testlab Classic users, you can now try out Simcenter Testlab Neo online. Simcenter Testlab Neo offers a new task-driven user experience and extends engineering capabilities with intuitive noise, vibration, and harshness performance engineering, end-to-end durability testing, and model-based system testing. Take a look at the trial to get a better understanding of the Simcenter Testlab Neo experience. And with that, we want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And on behalf of the entire Simcenter physical testing team, it's been a great pleasure to bring these highlights to you so that you can continue to transform engineering.